Welcome to How to Build an Easy AI CSM Wizard to help your team. I'm super excited to have Nir Kalish here. He has done some amazing things with Gemini Gems. And even though he's done a lot more than even the CSM Wizard, I just love the CSM Wizard. So I think you will too. And whether you're a leader or a CSM, I think you're going to get a lot of tools here today and exciting things to do. So let's see. Here we are. Nir, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes,
I would wax poetic about you for ages, but we don't have a whole hour for me to just talk about why I think you're so awesome. So go ahead and give people an introduction if they haven't met you before.
yeah. Thank you, Jen, and thank you for inviting me. So my name is Nir Kalish. I am 48 very, very soon. I originally was
Oh,
born,
happy birthday.
thank you. I was originally born in Israel and I relocated to United States 14 years ago. I started my career in the engineering world, so I managed engineering R&D organizations. And then at some point, I actually felt bored and not excited anymore. So I shifted to the world of customer success and solution engineers, and I'm doing that since then.
I love that. Yeah, their customers will never let you be bored.
Yes.
As soon as you rest on your laurels, something happens. Okay, so let's dig in here. Um, and I love that we're starting off with choosing the right AI bot for you, because if you're using Google Suite, then it makes a lot of sense to use Gemini. And Gemini, ever since the fall update, Gemini 3, it is amazing. I love it. But it's if you're over on Microsoft Teams or something like that, it may make more sense for you to use the copilots and other things there. But there's usually a lot of translation that you can do from one to the next. But what do you want to add to that, Nir, in terms of choosing the right AI bot and why you chose to work with Gemini?
Yeah, so I will be very honest with you. I was one of the early users with ChatGPT, and I tested all of them. I still have an account with ChatGPT and with Claude and with Gemini. I think that in the end, you need to think about, because all of them are almost the same. Okay. And all of them in a way. So if I think that in the next month or two we'll see ChatGPT version 17100, whatever, and now getting very close to Gemini 3, and then Claude will do something. So I cannot see a world right now for me just to choose one, but it's different for my private life when I have the freedom to do whatever I want versus my professional life. So I think that what needs to come into the head is one, pricing. Okay, there is a different price levels for enterprise bots versus the personal ones. Complexity of integration. So, for example, if I'm using ChatGPT and I want to integrate with Google, I need to write a lot of code behind the scene. It doesn't integrate out of the box. I need to move and shift myself to the API of ChatGPT and the API of Google and build, I will call it a megabot that will be able to communicate between or act as a proxy between those two environments. If I live inside Google environment, Gemini probably make a lot of sense because it has access to my Google Docs and to my emails and to YouTube and to a lot of Google platforms out of the box. And you also need to take into account the security requirements of your company. There are some bots that your security department might be more favor on because of different reasons. So you need to understand what is the protocol inside your company.
Great. And so thinking like a bot, uh, you know, certainly over communicating, but I think structured over communicating is usually helpful, right? Because it is logic, it is zeros and ones, and if you start off by sort of an unstructured, well, I get actually my bot, I have a rule put in where it will evaluate my prompt. And because so often I'll get lazy and just throw in a couple of ideas, it will chide me pretty regularly and say, your, your thoughts are unorganized. Like, I know, that's why I'm coming to you. I want you to organize them. But what else do you want to say about how you can structure a bot, not only when you're doing a conversation with it, but specifically as you're building gems?
Yeah. So before that, I will also say one thing on the choose the right tool. Sometimes you will need
Oh,
to choose all to work with all the three or all the four and all the seven. I will give you an example. I build a mobile app for my own needs, and when I build it, I use Gemini as the product manager and to design the documents. I use Claude to write the code for me, and I use ChatGPT to test and find the holes in the Claude code. So what I did is Gemini wrote the design based on what I told it, and then Claude took those design documents and wrote the code. Then I gave it to ChatGPT to test it and find holes. And whatever comments ChatGPT gave me, I took those comments and I gave it to Claude again to refix it. Okay, so the idea is that you need to keep your open mind. Sometimes there is things that are really, really great. ChatGPT is amazing on different topics, is horrible with creating slides. Gemini, not the Gemini inside the slide. This is piece of crap. The Gemini itself, if you ask him to create a slide for you, you give him the idea that you want, and you give him all the instructions, he will build an amazing slides for you. Things that will take marketing months to build and to design. Okay, so once again, each one has his own power, superpowers, and you just need to know to identify it. So how to think like a bot? Okay, so here's the thing: a lot of people sometimes get frustrated from the bot because I told him to do X and he doesn't do that. Okay, so you need to understand that in the end, bot is just a piece of software. Yes, it can be smart, and we try to make it smart, but it's a piece of software. If you don't tell it exactly what you mean, it can never guess. Okay, and if you will try to guess, most of the times you will do it wrong. Okay, this is exactly why we never trust the output of the bot as is. Okay, we always read it. We always understand to see if it makes sense, if he did any assumptions. Okay, so you need to over communicate, meaning you really need to tell him what you want and how you want it and what role he's playing. Okay, so when I build bots for customer success, I am telling the bot you're in the role of experienced customer success manager, and you have access to A, B, C, and D, and the internet and whatever. Okay, and here is what I want you to do. I want you to be able to support me when I'm now going to speak with a customer. Is the CISO, and we had a lot of frictions because our system was buggy, and we had an incident last night, and I got this email from the CISO, and I want you to write me an answer that will be professional or funny or put boundaries or whatever, and now it can create a much better outcome than just giving it the email and tell him I need you to reply and to give me an answer. He needs to know
right.
what
Some more
role,
context.
yeah, he needs to know what is the role that he's playing, for example. You want to make a meal and you have X amount of ingredients and you want ChatGPT to give you some options and
Yeah,
and recipes. You need to tell him you are now a chef and you have this and this and this and this and how many units, and this is what I don't like to eat. Suggest a meal. Okay. Otherwise,
right.
it's not going to give you the best results. Okay. You need to
And
use simple language. Okay.
one other thing that's being asked over in the chat is how to bring, like if you're switching between them, how to bring that context in. And one thing that's helpful is if you have a number of examples of things that you've written, or that you can turn into PDFs. You can also create your own sort of profile and what your voice is, things like that. You can actually, if you're say you're using ChatGPT and you want to switch to Gemini, you can actually have ChatGPT help you build that and turn that into a document. Then you can add that in either into your settings, or you can set up a gem, or if you're in ChatGPT, you can set up a GPT or from Claude, or any of the different places. But you can then use that and take that with you as a document wherever you go. So that's another thing. They'll also be doing a lot to add in more memory, as well as like context graphs and things like that that'll be coming down the pipe. But let's go ahead and just dig in to the example so that people can really get their hands on it, because we're already 18 minutes in.
Okay, let me share my screen.
All right. Well, so these examples are what we're going to be going through. And Kathy, can you go ahead and share the links to the slides again so people have that? We also have some other resources and things like that
Then
back here.
I now get a message that you cannot start SQL because you're sharing. Okay.
Yeah. So now you should be able to share.
Okay. Okay, so this is my work, Gemini. Okay, where so I build all my gems, professional gems, in my own private Gemini, and then I transfer them after I'm doing everything into the environment. And the reason is just because because we are a security company, we are deleting all the chats after 6 months, and it's just annoying me if I will have a long list of useless chats that I created. So let's start with the CSM Wizard. So what I did, I actually used Gemini to build the wizard itself. So I told Gemini, I want to build a wizard for my CSM teams. So I need you to think like a CSM, like a vet a CSM with a lot of years of experience. You worked in security and in other fields that are related to my company's business. Here is what we do. Here is some of our competitors, and I want you to be able to do a lot of things to help them. I want you to be their co-pilot, to help them manage their customers better, and to be their advisor. Okay, so I will just show you what it can do. Okay, and then I will be able even to show you some of the code. Okay, now it's okay. So basically, this bot has this copilot has 10 roles that he can play. Now, someone can ask me why you didn't build a gem per role. And the reason is, for me, I wanted to have one place that they can always go, even if they are doing a call with the customer, and not now to start to think which gem do I need to use for which problem. And sometimes the problems are correlated. Okay, so so there is
So you're saying,
so
like, sometimes you might need to be the firefighter and the strategist
yes,
at the same time. And
yes.
because of that, you want to be able to have both of those in there.
Yes. And I personally love when I think that it's more helped me and help a lot of people many times, is that you really quickly can come with hundreds of gems. And when there isn't any smart way today to aggregate them, so if I can aggregate multiple gems that are in the same area, I will do that, and then it will make my life easier. So what this gem supports? So he can take our logs and can translate them into CISO executive ready ROI tables based on different knowledge that he read and I fed it. So I can tell him, hey, we are a cybersecurity company that built agents. We have 5 agents that connect to Salesforce and do A, B, C, D, and we run them 50 times this month. And now we can translate it into an ROI that I can present to an executive. Doesn't mean that I don't need to read it, but it now saves time to my team to start to break everything and to start to think and yada, yada, yada. We have the firefighter. The firefighter is basically help you to de-escalate red accounts. So I can give him red accounts, what happened, what was the problem, and he can help me and suggest different plans and different ideas to help them to escalate, to de-escalate.
So then
Okay.
how do you, what I'm getting in the chat is how do you aggregate so many gems into one? What does the prompt look like? And then the other question I'm getting is then how do you share this with your team?
Okay, so the prompt, it's very simple. Once again, this is why I didn't build it. I told Gemini to build the code for me, and every time I took it and copy it to the gem itself. So I created a chat and I told it, hey, I want to build this gem. Help me out. And this is what I think. Tell me what other things I'm missing. Tell me where to put the boundaries. Tell me how to fine tune it. And we had like 30, 40 iterations until it was in the level that I want. So he actually did the split for me. Okay, but the code will look like that. Basically, oops, okay. Basically, it's literally as all, you see number 9. So you can see convert customers complain into product specification. What is the format? What is the title? What is the user story? What is the profile? And so on and so on. Basically, all of that was Gemini code. I didn't write any sentence here. I just told Gemini what I need and asked him to build me the instructions and the prompt for the gem.
And so then sometimes it can be really challenging though to put several gems inside of one gem. How do you keep it structured so that it doesn't just like jam up and stop doing anything?
So he built it. So that's the power of building something using the chat itself. I told the chat what are the 7 that I wanted. Okay, let's go back to here because it's forgot. I told chat. I told the chat. I need you to build me 7. I need you to build me one gem with 7 capabilities as a copilot. And after we finished several iterations, it was good enough. I told him, tell me what is missing. Give me more capabilities to that gem. And he suggested the other 3 actually that I
Okay.
missed. Okay, but when you ask him to write the code, he will write the code in a very organized way.
Okay.
You can instruct him. You can tell him, make sure that the instructions are written in very readable way and differentiate between different role, and he will do the job for you.
Okay. So do you have it at the beginning, differentiating between things, or like can show us like how you introduce when you have so many different tasks
Yes.
within the gem, how do you structure it in such a way in the instructions? Because
So
like literally,
I
like
don't
I
need to.
was doing this the other day and I decided to break it into several GPTs because it was getting confused,
So
right?
let me show you. I will let's do something easier. Okay.
Okay.
I want to build a copilot gem in Gemini that will help sales people. You are a VP of sales with 20 years of experience in a B2B enterprise selling of e-commerce services. I want the copilot to help the salespeople to choose between different options, such as suggest the right pricing model, help writing emails when leads
Okay.
are ghosting, and I will just do that. Okay, and if needed, ask clarifying questions to help you provide the output. Okay. Now, of course, you need to always be on the thinking or on the pro. Never go to the fast. The fast, sorry for my French, it's a piece of crap. Nothing works in the fast. All the data that it brings is a disaster when it needs to do something really, really smart. Okay. And you can see, we literally build everything for you. I need to read it. Okay. Yada, yada, yada. And then whenever I will start, I can just copy it. I can tune it. Now it's just the beginning, right? So it will take time. But then,
So
uh,
then you kind of go back and forth and say, well, what about this scenario, that scenario?
yes.
Okay. And how do you share it with your team?
So it's very simple. In Google, you have the ability to share, and that's it. And you can, in the sharing, you can
Just
say
a link?
whether, yeah, it's a link. Once they will click on it, it will take them to their own space, their own Gemini of their own space, and it will create a gem for them. And I can
So
even
it's
give
just like
them
when you're sharing a GBT or something like
exactly
that.
everything stays the same. It's the same sharing rules. I can give them viewer. I can make them ability to edit the original one, which literally lands on mine. And if not, it's basically create a copy of mine, but it's using my own gem. So they can use it, they cannot change it. And if
Okay.
they are editor, they can change it and it will change on mine as well.
Okay. And so part of what you're doing though is you were building the gem so that it is specific to what you need for your customers, your product, and all of that, right? So then
Yes.
what somebody else needs is going to be different because you want to train it on the type of stakeholders that you have. You
Yes.
also you also have a lot of people who, because you can have so many escalations, you're dealing with a lot of angry people because, right? Like when there's an escalation, like they'll be quite direct, right? And so you're part of what you're having to do is like help your CSM sort of talk people off the ledge a lot, right?
Yeah, and I will talk about it in a second, but I just want to, for example, like the shield, it, everybody will need probably all of them in every CS organization, but there will be few caveats. For example, the shield, which is literally do competitive analysis, I need to feed him in advance who are our competitors and what is our business. Nobody can take my code as is, and if you're going to work at Google, to give you a good answer about Google's competitors, because my shield code is talking about cybersecurity competitors of ours. Okay, the simulator is talking about the world that we are talking today. And if you're selling to marketing departments, my simulator won't work for you. Okay, so that's the changes that we'll need to take. But for example, the deal auditor, probably you can take it as is to any company out there because it's implementation of Medpic.
Right, right. Okay, what are some of the other types of gems? And I know also you have a way in which you're using the uh, because well, so like Gemini doesn't have the audio in except for in the
Yes.
phone right now.
Yes.
So you're going to show that as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah. And I will talk about it in a second as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So I built for myself, and then I thought that it would be great to share it with everybody in the company. But I like to travel, so I build a traveler agent for me, where he knows who I am and he knows my family and he knows what airlines and hotels we have memberships and we like. And what he does, he will ask me a set of questions and you will be able to find me the best flights. And will also, if it's a multiple stops flight, you will calculate the risk of the waiting time. And it will find me the hotels, and it goes into hotels reviews and read the last 6 months reviews to tell me if there is noises, clean level, service level, all of those. And it will then suggest based on our food preference, or if he will ask me if it's someone new, what are your food preferences, what are your entertainment preferences, and we
Great.
literally will build me everything that I need.
Plus, it sounds amazing. I need this.
And this is why I shared it with everybody in the company, because we do sometimes travel, and hey, maybe you have 3 hours, you can ask the traveler. And by the way, I'm using it on my
Show
phone.
us though. We're still looking at the strategic copilot. I want to
Sorry.
see this world traveler.
Yeah, so here, sorry. And here's the thing, he also will go to YouTube, and that's the big power of Gemini, because I ask him for every entertainment to go to vloggers in the last 3 months and get me tips out of it. So I will just show you, I am going to Tokyo for 3 days, am alone, and I want to eat local food only, no restrictions. Okay. And there is a lot of code there. And by the way, even with that, I build that with Gemini itself. So Gemini build all the code for me. Okay. And while he's thinking, because it will take you, okay, blah, blah, blah. Now he will just give me. And the way that I design it behind the scene is I told him, when you build me the plan, I want you to make sure that the restaurants and the entertainments are all in the same group by areas, so I won't spend time on traveling in between. Okay. So he can literally give me more. I can ask him what I want, what I don't want, and so on and so on. And I will do that. You also can give me a guide, and he can give me the hours and the train. It's like almost endless. So when I built it and I saw that it's really, really good, and by the way, today I use it on my phone instead of Yelp. I actually, when I want to find a nice restaurant in my area or in Austin, I just tell him, hey, I'm in this area, find me those restaurants. He will start to ask me some questions, and that's it. Okay, but he will give me the tips, and I can go deep, 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 and in the end, he will give me the full plan, so I can print it and I can take it with me.
All right. What are some other things that you've built? Oh, count hours.
Yeah.
Show them that.
So count hours is basically one of the, we want to know how efficient we are based on the customers, right? In the end, we want to know how much hours we invested in customers. So we have multiple aspects. It's still not perfect, but one of the things that it can do for me, it can actually connect to my calendar and show me all the meetings that I spent with customers in the last 30 days. So the way that it looks at today's date, go window of 30 days backward, and for each invite that I have in my calendar, checked if the domain of the customer that I'm going to write, actually Delta won't be there, but let's try Wix, will appear, and it will count me how many meetings and how many hours the meeting took place. He will ask me, is that accurate? Because maybe some meeting took 3 hours instead of only one, even though in the calendar it's right one. Okay, and now we have a bug. Maybe because it doesn't have it. Let me try something else. And this one, for example, is a code that two of my people can actually change and delete. Okay,
So
so
maybe something
yeah,
got
but
changed.
now I think that it might work. Okay, but basically you can tell him, hey, no, this meeting on that date actually took 5 hours, not only one. He will do all the updates and will give you the final calculation. And now when we go to meetings with the CFO, for example, of whether our customers are profitable or not, we can come much, much faster and prepared than just start to count my calendars and all of that. The only
And can
thing
you
that,
show then how this is built? Because you're connecting this, you're having it look at your calendar.
yeah, but you see, it's giving me everything. Okay.
Okay. And so then the peripheral count is it's coming up with that because of what? Like how does it, like if you only have an hour meeting on your calendar, how does it know the time you spent otherwise?
Because he gives me all the meetings, and now at the end he will tell me, do you want to change it? Okay, I can tell him, hey, this meeting ID number one, it actually didn't took 30 minutes. Actually, it was 5 hours.
Okay, so then you would
Now
go
it
and
will
change that.
recalculate it without changing my calendar, by the way, because in the beginning when I built it, it changed the calendar invite as well.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so I had to explicitly tell him, don't touch the calendar, just read, don't write into it. Okay,
Can you show us a little bit about how that looks behind?
yes. And the code, by the way, every gem that you write on your account knows to access your calendar. Mine cannot access other people's calendar. Okay, that's the downside. The downside is that I cannot create one gem that will go and read all my team members' calendar
Right.
because of security reasons. Okay, but you can see it.
Based on, and this is based on the calendar. It's not like one of those, because there's tools out there that will go and look and see how what you were actually using, like how long you were working in PowerPoint versus
No,
something else. So it's not doing that. It's just doing it
no,
based on calendar.
no. Yes,
Okay. But then you're having it analyze more things other than just straight off, this is your number of hours. You're having it analyze how much time you're spending on an account, right?
yeah, this is just one variable. This is the meeting variables. We have other variables where we have other systems that count hours on that, and then we have one database that we put everything once a month, and then we can go to the CFO and to do a meeting, me and the founders and the CFO, how much money we invested in a customer this month, whether how much they pay us. Does it make sense to keep them, or do we need to change something? Do we need maybe to upsell them? Maybe we need to put some boundaries. Maybe we need to let them go. So that's a tool that helps us instead of the CSM start to count hours manually. They just do that, put it in a database, and that's it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Why don't you also show us the what you're doing with the phone
Yes.
and how you have people sort of
Yes. So here's the thing. One of the great things that I found is that both ChatGPT and Gemini only on the phone app. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why it
well, no,
doesn't exist on the
ChatGPT, you
phone.
can do it on the app, on
Oh,
the
so now,
browser app.
now
Yeah,
you can do it. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. When I tested it, when I checked it back then, it wasn't there. It was only
yeah.
on the phone. So here's the thing. In the phone, let me just open Gemini. Okay. When you open the app, you will see on the bottom, you will see a few icons. The last icon from the right, next to the microphone is I just want to say a prompt. The last one on the right is actually me being able to communicate with it. So here is how I explain my systems how to leverage it, and it's a great idea. Uh, um,
Is there any
so
way you can show us what you're looking at?
I'm not so sure that it will show you. You see this?
Okay.
So
So
it's
it's the
this
one on the
one.
far right, you're saying?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Okay, if
All
you
right.
see the microphone, it's after the
Uh-huh.
microphone. Okay,
Okay.
so what I'm going to do now, and here is how I'm going to use it. I can use Gemini to do a simulation call before I'm going to a customer to a tough call. And then even Gemini will give me a feedback where I did things good and where I need to improve. Okay, so I'm going to show you a test. Okay, I hope that you can hear it. I want us to do a simulation where you are acting as a VP of engineering that wants to churn. You are a very tough person. You don't like our service and you never actually used it and you're not listening to the recommendation of the champion. I want you to be a very unpolite in your answers and make my life a living hell to try to renew the service.
Let's get this over with. I don't have much time, and frankly, I don't think what you have is worth it. Our team is doing fine without your service, and I'm not convinced it provides any real value. Why should I even consider it?
So you are aware that the ROI in the last year was about $50 million saving in time spent on incidents.
A $50 million ROI? That sounds more like fiction than fact. I've seen those inflated numbers before. Unless you can provide some concrete data to back that up, I'm not convinced. And didn't your champion mention some issues with implementation anyway?
So according to your champion, when he went to the logs and compared it to compare the time effort last year without us versus this year, this is the numbers that he came. He came that last year you spent $50 million in hours on all the 1,000 employees that are working in incident management, and we reduced the amount of time by a factor. And we had one issue in the beginning of the implementation with you that we solved it based on your requirements.
Your champion is probably just trying to justify their position. $50 million in hours across 1,000 employees? That's a massive, unsubstantiated claim. And a single implementation issue that was solved doesn't inspire confidence either. What exactly did that factor reduction look like in tangible terms?
So we saved you.
Wait, let's stop. Let's
Yeah.
stop because I think we get the idea, and I think that
And,
it's truly can be helpful as you're trying to prepare, right?
and by the way, at the end, I asked when we stopped the simulation, and I did a lot of things. Sometimes actually I cannot convince them. Now I throw a big number, but when it's normal numbers, sometimes it's back and forth, and sometimes it will tell, you know what? Let's do a POV. The bot will say, let's take another 3 months. I want to be involved more. But in the end, I asked Gemini, okay, tell me what are the things that I didn't do well in the conversation and tell me what I did well. And now I can replay it again and make sure that I'm come much more prepared to a tough call with the customer.
Mhm. And so do you, besides, what you just did was you did a voice prompt saying, hey, prepare, but you could also on your phone use a gem that is designed to have these kinds of conversations, right? Because
No,
you didn't use a gem then, did
no,
you?
there is no gem. The live today, the live option is not connected to any gem.
Oh, it's
And
not?
then,
Okay.
no, it's a literally you can ask it to do simulations, you can ask it questions, and it's a literally like a friend that you speak with.
Okay. All right. So you can't incorporate gems for that. Okay, I thought you could.
No.
Okay. All right. What other thoughts or questions? I'm seeing a lot of stuff over in the chat. What other thoughts or questions do people have for Nir? Because it's hard to, cover everything.
So
And I
one,
think
one,
we went
one
over.
question that I see here that someone
Yeah.
asked if I can do a mock of EBR. The answer is yes, but it cannot access the slide because the live doesn't allow you to upload files yet. I hope that it will be solved down the road, but you can do a mock of almost any conversation that you have with a customer, whether it's EBR and onboarding, everything. You just need to give him in the beginning, like I did, you need to give him the instructions. We are going to do an onboarding simulation. You're going to play the role of the VP of engineering or the role of the engineer or the both roles, and I want you to change voices in between. And here is how I want you to make my life hard or good or whatever.
All right. Any other thoughts or questions from folks out there? I know we've tried to give you sort of an overview of a lot of different things here. All right. And then Bella wants to know if you've used Gemini for growth forecasting.
So I do use it for some forecasting, but I will be very honest with you. Even the bots, there are so many focused algorithms out there, and focusing is one of the hardest problems out there. I cannot tell you that the work that they do is good enough.
Okay. What about if you give it constraints and you're having it focus on, certain
Yeah,
keywords?
you can do all of this, but still we need to remember that there are dedicated forecasting tools with a lot of algorithm and a lot of brain inside it. A bot
That are better.
doesn't replace them just now yet.
Okay. And what are some of those tools? Or have you used some that are better at forecasting?
No, our finance team use
Okay.
one system that we are paying a lot of money. To be very honest, I didn't see that it's really walking into the even close to the numbers, but it's a known problem in the industry about really good forecasting.
Okay.
If there was a really good tool, by the way, I think that we would have seen it in the stock market where nobody is missing almost any time their earnings.
All right. And then we also have a question. Someone's asking how you improve the custom GPT or the gem once you are, working through it.
Yeah.
Or Ash, do you want to come off mute and ask the question? It seems a little.
Yeah. Yeah. So like custom GPTs, they have the creator mode. So I was creating a GPT and I put in the instructions right off the bat to start with, but the output wasn't giving me what I wanted to, but it worked in a thread. And that's why I thought the instructions would work. So I decided to go to the creator mode and I can actually like iterate and like give her smaller bits of information, instructions, and then see like what the output is, and then give feedback, and then more of like a involved process. But the gems, like there's no creator mode like that's similar to the GPT. So I'm wondering,
So,
how do you iterate
it's
and
very simple.
improve a gem?
In Gems, it's actually much simple. All you need to go is to the instructions. So if let's assume that
Why
I
don't
will.
you show us? Why don't you show us?
Let me show you. Okay, so let's assume that I found a bug in the count hours. Okay, so what I will do, I will go to the instructions, I will copy all of them, I will go to a new chat and I will tell him, hey, this is the instructions that I have for count hours. Review it for me for a second. Don't reply. I will tell you what I need from you. He will read it.
Okay.
And then I will tell him, okay, the problem is that it's count also future hours. I want you to fix it. And now we will generate a new one. I will go here, delete the code, copy paste the new one, save, update, and that's it.
Okay.
I'm just replacing the code here again and again and again, and I will have a dedicated chat that will be my builder.
Okay. And can you keep going back to the same thread? Is there like no context limit? Like as in like not using the same thread after a while?
I couldn't find something like that, but even if there is, and let's assume that you even deleted it, you don't need to worry because you just need to copy the code that you have right now and go back and create a new chat and tell him what is the fixes that you want him to do.
Okay. That makes sense.
And are any of these, I know a lot of this is proprietary and specific to your company, but are any of these ones that you could share with the folks here so that they could see how you built it as well as try using it?
Yeah, so definitely the CSM Wizard and the VPCS helper. The VPCS helper is something that I built for myself. I built it in a way that he will always challenge my decisions on purpose. And so he can suggest me a few things, but the goal is that I build a mirror of someone that is very nasty and challenge everything that I will tell him. And the idea is that I wanted to be able to have someone that will challenge every idea that I have in regards to customer success. And the CISO monthly email is basically we give him a lot of information and it generate the template that we want to send every month to the CISO, to the executive buyer. But once again, that's built on the data of the customers. I think that the one that I can share with all of you will be the count hours, because it's just go and look at domains that are inside the calendar, and that's it. There is no customer names or logic around it except go to the calendars for the last 30 days.
Okay, great. That would be awesome.
And I can even do that.
And maybe we can add it into the slides.
And I don't have the slide, but I will put it here on the text message on the chat so everybody can copy it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I can always add it to the slides for later.
We already have so Jen, what I can do, I can, you know what, can you, because it's 6,000
It's too long to
characters?
fit in the
Yes.
chat.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll add it to the slides later, and the link to the slides will be over on our website on the resources page. So folks will know about that. And then And then what about sharing the link so that folks could use it? Well, I guess they have to go in and change
No,
it because it
if it
has to
was
refer to your own calendar.
if it was
Yeah,
my private one, there is no problem because it's a
yeah.
company one. We are actually have a restriction behind it. It cannot be shared outside of the company,
Ah,
so it
okay.
won't work. You will click on it, nothing will happen. I
Okay.
can only share the
Very good.
code.
All right. I meant to go to breakouts, but we only have 8 minutes left, so we didn't go to breakouts today. So if you don't feel comfortable coming off mute to ask a question, please put it in the chat. Or, but are there any other questions that folks have for Nir? Because I think, it's through sharing these ideas that then we can go back and start to apply them. And over in our Slack channel, if people aren't part of the community, go and join our Slack channel. We have an AI and CS channel. We can continue the conversation and share things there. So we can also share the prompt over there as well. And if you go to our website, you can get access to the Slack. Any other thoughts or questions that folks have? Oh, also a week from today at this time, I've got a webinar for CS leaders, all about modern CS growth systems, and AI is certainly a part of that. So if you go to our, you can find that if you go to our events channel. But what other thoughts or questions do folks have? Is there something? If not, I don't see any questions. Do you want to share more,
Yeah,
Nir?
I will even show it you something that is not related to gems, right? But something that you can do things faster. So I go to chiropractic once a month because I sit in front of the computer every day, and every December I already schedule have all the 12 meetings in advance. Okay, I enjoy doing it because it's keep my calendar clean. I don't need to think in advance. So the lady in the office write down all the dates. And until now, I used to come after, and once a year, I need to go to my calendar and start to put invites one after the other. And it's annoying because I need to put it on my private one and I need to put it on my work one so nobody will schedule the meetings. Guess what? With ChatGPT, with Gemini, sorry, not ChatGPT, Gemini, I go to my private Gemini. I tell him, hey, Gemini, I need you to write down to schedule all those calendars invites. Here was the dates. The subject should be a chiropractic meeting. Enter. Literally 6 seconds after, my calendar is up to date. I do the same on my work. Done. I don't need to spend the time. Okay. So when you go and work with bots, you need to think about what are the things that I can do or I'm doing all the time that actually the bot can do for me. And if it's things around emails or calendars, you can ask Gemini, hey, Gemini, I'm looking for an email from Jen about some presentation that I need to do, and I cannot find it. Search it in all the folders, including the spam and the deleted items. He will do it for you. I don't
And
need
this
to start
this
to.
is when you're in Gemini, or if you're in Gmail using Gemini.
No, German.
If you're in Gemini. Okay.
One of the things that I found right now. So you have the Google put inside the Docs and inside Gmail the AI. Okay, it's Gemini behind the scene. Here's what I found till now. Till now, I feel that they've used the Gemini fast, and it's one version before 3, because the Gemini inside the PowerPoint, for example, it's a disaster. It doesn't do anything good. It's horrible. But when you go to Gemini itself, put it on the thinking and tell him, hey, here is a text. I want you to make an infographic presentation. He builds things amazing. Okay. You know what? If you, Jen, do I have 2 more minutes or 1 minute?
Wait. Rachel had something about how
Okay.
she trained voices in Claude that I think folks wanted to hear. Can we do that real quick and then we'll
Yep.
finish up with you?
Yes.
Okay. Rachel Askin, you
Hey.
were going to come off mute.
Yep. Hey, thanks. I can talk more in detail about this either in Slack or walk people through or whatever. I actually got this idea from somebody else who I follow on LinkedIn. What I found that I was doing previously was saying things like, and I know Nir, you did this earlier in the presentation too, where I am the director of customer success. I have these people on my team, or I'm working with this customer. Here are the brief details. Write me a draft of an email after reading this, or whatever it might be. It's those basic repeated details of who I am and how I like to communicate that I found super annoying. And so when I saw this post on LinkedIn, I immediately did it. You have to pay for Claude. I can't speak to the other AI tools, but I upgraded to the $100 a month plan in Claude. Now I have the ability to set up a project with my voice. And what you need to do in order to set that up is provide some examples that really sound like you, so that Claude can use those as the basis for creating the voice. You can say what your level of role is, who your audience oftentimes is, and that sort. So again, to Nir's point, you still have to give Claude the foundational information. And then rather than starting a new chat generically in Claude, when I want to sound especially like me, for example, if I'm writing a cover letter and I want to make sure that it sounds like me and not like AI, I will then go into, instead of new chat, I go into the project, I click on my voice, and then I say, here's the job description, here's my resume. I want to write a cover letter that hits on X, Y, and Z in particular. Either draft it for me, or here's my draft and edit it for me, make sure it sounds like me. And then, as always with AI outputs, read it and edit it to make sure it actually does indeed sound like you.
Okay, so you're using projects to then save a bunch of files, give it some instructions, and then whenever you do a chat in that project, then it's drawing off of those things. Got it.
Right. So then again, I'm currently in an active job search. I don't have to upload my resume every single time and say, this is the kind of thing I'm looking for. It already knows those details.
Got it.
And by the way, one other thing to remember is that in all the bots, you can tell them, hey, I want you to remember this. Now they will remember it, even what I saw, at least in ChatGPT and Gemini, even if you already shut down that chat and you will create a new one, and you will tell him, hey, remember the slides that we did on how to drive a car? And will say, yes, I remember it. It's still in my memory. Okay. Now, sometimes they have some screw ups. I think that it's because they're still shifting between memories and computers. But most of the time it will work.
And I'll oftentimes ask, I'll start off by saying, what do you know about whatever? And, from our previous conversations, and have it give that information so that then I know what it knows. And then I'll say, okay, and I'll add a couple of other things to it. And, especially if it's just like a short little conversation that I'm not building project around.
Yes. And
and actually ChatGPT has projects as well, not just Claude, although I like Claude's better.
And the other two, in the settings, on each bot, you have a settings. And inside in the settings, you have your personality, each one call it differently. You can put all the things that you want them to remember. My name is Nir Kalish, I'm 47 years old. I want you to answer in English and not in Hebrew when I ask you. I don't want you to use dashes. I want you to use commas, all of those things. So when you move from one bot to another, the way to take the memory with you is you ask the bot, tell me everything. Literally, the prompt is, tell me everything that you know about me till today. He will write you a long text. You can decide if you want to remove things, and then you just go to the other bot, open the personality aspect, copy it, and from that point, they are identical on that aspect of knowing new. Okay,
and that's something that Nathan Spear had a question about as well. And so Nathan, that's how you get there in terms of switching from one to the next, or using all of them simultaneously, whatever you feel like doing. Was there any last thing we are at time, but is there any last thing that you wanted to share? Because I did interrupt you before we went to the project.
No, that's it.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I really do appreciate it. Let's continue the conversation over in Slack. There's the CSNA plus AI channel in our community. We also will have the recordings on our YouTube and then on our website at CxXchange.com/resources. We also upload the slides. So next week, we have 2 events. One is the Step Up Exchange Next Gen CS Leadership Masterclass. The other is Community Connect. Isn't that right, Ash? We're doing Community Connect next week?
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Community Connect, like networking.
And if you are in between roles, we also have a mock interviews program. They're doing some sessions, things like that. And then at the last week of the month, we have LinkedIn Success Circle, which is all about developing your thought leadership and how to develop your brand and put things on LinkedIn. So you kind of share that more. That's always good, whether you're just trying to develop your thought leadership or if you are in between roles. So look for all those events on our events, our lu.ma/CxExchange. Nir, thank you so much. I just love what you've been putting together and how just knowing how much it has really helped your CSMs feel so much more confident in, the tough conversations that you can have in cybersecurity. I loved everything that you've done to really empower and enable your team and the impact that it's had. It's really, really incredible.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right. Awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time and hopefully see you throughout the week.
Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Success Hour, formerly known as CS Office Hours. We regularly put out new content, so to be the first to know, like this episode, tap that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and we look forward to seeing you soon.